Eagle, proud symbol of our country, keep on flying high up above, and together we will stand and we'll restore the land. Oh, eagle, keep on flying, eagle.
Welcome to Listen to the Eagle. Wake up, Alabama. Hunters and fishermen, this is your show. Listen to the Eagle is your platform for Alabama's hunters and fishermen to have a voice statewide across this great state of Alabama. There's nothing like us out there. It's fishing time, and what better? Let's get straight to it. One of our guests that we had on a few weeks ago, Program Director of the Alabama Bass Trail, Miss Kay Donaldson, to update us. Kay, welcome back to Listen to the Eagle.
Thank y'all so much for having me. It's always good to be on and share the great word of Alabama fishing, and hoping everybody's getting outside and enjoying some of this cool snap we've had.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you really call 85 cool snap, but it's
hey,
better than what we've had the last couple weeks.
Kay, it is in the state of Alabama in June, that's for sure. I was totally blown away Sunday morning when I woke up and it was only 70.
Yeah, it's an absolute wonderful day. We had spent some time over in Mississippi this weekend, but it sure was glad to get back to Alabama and enjoy some of this cool weather.
Kay, real quick, we had you on several weeks ago, and just, if you don't mind, let's go back through again, kind of explain the Alabama Bass Trail for some of our new listeners, if you don't mind, frame kind of what's going on now in I believe it's the second or third year of kind of how the program has grown, and then kind of update us of what's been going on.
Well, you know, the Alabama Bass Trail started in March of 2012 as a way for the state of Alabama to promote itself as a year-round fishing destination, to market itself to the world as a place to come and enjoy fishing, whether it be for smallmouth, largemouth, spotted bass, or stripe. It was a great way for us to showcase our state, very similar to the way we've done with the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. Mm-hmm. And as those of you who have followed throughout the years, the 3 years that we've been in business here, you've also seen the inception of the Alabama Bass Trail Tournament Series. And with that, we've seen just a great positive impact on our state, the media impressions that we've received, and the positive comments that we've received throughout the state in promoting the fisheries at the prime time of the year, and recognizing some of our amateur anglers that have done quite well in our series. So, we've been out spreading the word. We do about 10 to 12 trade and travel shows each year, and we give out about 1,000 to 1,500 rods and reels to kids under the age of 12 each year.
Oh, wow.
To try to keep Alabama fishing and to continue to encourage the outdoors and more fishing rods and more tackle boxes and X boxes is kind of how we go about that.
I love that. More tackle boxes than X boxes. Now, that is cool because here at Listen to the Eagle, one of our big things that we promote and what we beat the drum to is getting the youth involved in the outdoors.
You know, and the great thing that our state, and there's a couple more states that's following suit, is the high school angling program. You know, we have a lot of these clubs that are signing up. We have over 1,200 high school student anglers that are competing throughout the state, whether they're competing with the ASA-BFA, whether they're competing with the Airport Marine Trail, the Bass Nation Trail, or whatever. They're given a chance to go out there and compete and represent their schools through club fishing, which is, you know, it's not anything new, but it's new to the high school forum. And so we're really excited about that, growing our anglers, starting them off early. And, you know, we really concentrate on kids under the age of 12 and making sure that they have no excuses as to go fishing. We're going to provide them with the rod and the reel, and now they just need the time to go out and sit on the bank and cast. Real
quick for our listeners, you know, they can kind of take what we're framing here today, but if they really want to dig in and get more information, where can they go to find out more about what you're doing with the Alabama Bass Trail?
Well, we encourage them to go to our website, alabamabasstrail.org. It's certainly the mega center for all the information is Alabama Bass Trail. We're very active on social media at Facebook at Alabama Bass Trail, social media at AL Bass Trail, Instagram, AL Bass Trail. So they can follow us on all those social media networks. But certainly alabamabasstrail.org is the big mega center for the information, whether you're looking at it from the tourism perspective or the tournament series perspective. All the information can be found there on the website.
Visiting with Kay Donaldson, Program Director of the Alabama Bass Trail, right here on Listen to the Eagle radio and television show. Kay, kind of walk us back through, if you don't mind. I remember there's there's different divisions, the lakes. You know, you and I discussed the first time you were here how awesome we are blessed with so many wonderful lakes and fisheries here in the state of Alabama. Can you kind of walk our listeners through the lakes that y'all focus on and how it all plays out in the two different divisions?
Sure. The Alabama Bass Trail consists of 13 lakes. Although we only fish 11 of them in the tournament series, we rest a couple of our lakes each year. And so we start in the north with Lake Gunnersville. Of course, it's the largest lake in the state of Alabama, just over 69,000 acres, probably the crowning jewel, the most known lake in the state of Alabama being Lake Gunnersville.
Right.
Moving to the second largest lake in the state, Wheeler Lake, just over 67,000 acres. You know, being on the Tennessee Reservoir, being on a dam system, you have Wheeler Lake, is next in the line. And then we move over to Pickwick Lake, which is primarily known for its smallmouth. But the great thing about Pickwick is the smallmouth, the largemouth, you can catch catfish, brim, sauger, everything within a 35, yard cast. So it's a really cool lake. Probably the least respected, but yet one of the better fishing lakes this year has been Smith Lake.
Really?
It's a deep Clearwater lake, but this year actually holds the record for our heaviest weight for the year, which is just over 2,000 pounds. Great fishery in Smith Lake. Going on over to the Coosa chain of lakes, we have Neely Henry, which is out of the Gadsden, St. Clair County area. Neely Henry was last year's top weight lake, and it's a great spotted bass lake as well as largemouth. We've added Weiss Lake to the tournament trail this year to be our June tournament for 2016 in the North Division. Weiss Lake is a very shallow lake, very sand bottom, average at depth of about 10 feet. It's a fantastic fishery and can't wait to get there in June.
Wow.
Then we got a Lay Lake. This past week, or 2 weeks ago, we had a tournament there, went over 24 pounds to win it, 162 boat entry. So that was a fantastic tournament. We love Lay Lake. Lake Jordan was our first tournament of 2015. It's a little bit smaller body of lake, roughly about 13,000 acres, but it's a great spotted bass lake, and we had a 23-pound bag weight in there this year, so that was a great lake. Moving on down to Miller's Ferry, a lot of people don't know about Miller's Ferry. It's on the Alabama River. It's between the Claiborne Locking Dam and the Cooters Pond area. So it's about 80 miles dam to dam there, and what a fertile riverbed. I mean, it's an awesome, awesome fishery, and we love to be in Camden, love to be on Miller's Ferry. We also have Lake Eufaula, which is one of the probably most noted lakes in the state of Alabama. Lake Eufaula has really come back since the grass has come back in that lake.
Good. And
then probably the lake that most people don't know much about, or if at any, is the Mobile Delta. It's 260,000 acres of wetland and fishable water down there. So you deal with tide water, you deal with the brackish type water, but it's a great fishery. We had almost 15 pounds there this year. And last but not least, and I missed it in the chain, would be Logan Martin, which is typically a spotted bass lake. We were there the first week of May, very just immediately post-spawn for those fish, but turned out to be a great fishery, and a little over 21 pounds won that tournament. So, Lake Martin will be added next year to be our first tournament in the South, a deep, clear lake, very similar to Smith, spotted bass lake. So we have 13 lakes in the system. We only fish 11, with Eufaula being our championship next year.
I got you. Again, visiting with Kay Donaldson, Program Director of the Alabama Bass Trail. If you're enjoying this conversation and everything you're getting, please visit alabamabasstrail.org. Get, just a wealth of knowledge about what's going on with the program. Kay, I can't thank you enough for visiting with us again, but before I let you go, I know you mentioned a couple of them while you were running through the lakes there, but can you kind of update us on the tournaments that have already been, and kind of the success story there, and then also share with us some more tournaments coming up right around the corner here in June and July?
Well, we're finished for the year as far as our regular season. We finished June the 20th at Lay Lake. We have decided which the 55 top fishermen plus our 10 winners will go on to our championship, along with the top 15 qualifying high school teams that we have. We have 140 teams that will be coming to Wheeler Lake October the 8th and the 9th. 9th and the 10th. We meet on the 8th. They'll fish the 9th and the 10th. So we're excited about having the championship in Decatur on Wheeler Lake at Ingalls Harbor, which is the premier fishing destination in the state of Alabama, if not the Southeast. It's a fantastic facility. And fall fishing on the Tennessee River is always good, so we're looking forward to that.
Well, that's
a couple
awesome.
Of dates I want your listeners to be in mind of is that we do open registration for the 2016 season on August the 15th. It opens to the public, so they can see the schedule on our website. They can see it on our Facebook page. Take a look at the schedule. Certainly read through the 2016 rules. We've got a couple new ways that they can qualify this year. We're going to be taking the top 5 collegiate teams to our championship. Also, the top 5 couples, husband and wife teams, we're going to be taking those to the championship.
Wow.
The top 15 student teams, and then our top points winners and our winners. So looking forward to opening that up, as well as we're going to be taking single teams. So a single-person team would also be able to enter this year, which is a new way of being able to qualify through the Alabama Bass Trail.
Okay, so if you heard all that, go to alabamabasstrail.org and get all the information about registering for next year. Real quick, Kay, you and I had a discussion a few weeks ago, and we talked about the economic impact that this Bass Trail program has had across our great state and in some small towns over the last couple of years. Did you see it again this year? Is the data in?
We did. We're still getting the data from the Lake tournament. We're still inputting that data, but through the 9 regular season tournaments, we're well over $3 million. So
wow.
We estimate that this season could increase to about a $4 million economic impact to our state. That's just what we can track through our tournament series. But we know that FLW and Bass and Fishes and Men and a lot of these other trails that are bringing tournaments here, that are bringing people from outside the state, we know they're making an economic impact as well.
Yes.
Typically, freshwater fishing is about a $900 million economic impact to our state.
Yes.
And our Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Department sees about $7 million in licenses that are sold throughout the state for non-resident and resident. So that's where a lot of the improvement monies come from, that improve the boat ramps, improve the parking lots, add cleaning stations and things like that. So it is a major industry to our state. And I just appreciate everyone that has supported the Bass Trail and continues to support the Bass Trail.
That is so awesome. Visiting with Kay Donaldson, Program Director of Alabama Bass Trail. Please visit alabamabasstrail.org. Find out more information, how to be a part of it, especially if you want to register for next year. Kay, again, thank you for all that you do for the state of Alabama in this program, and thank you for being on Listen to the Eagle.
Thank you so much. Look forward to speaking with you guys again soon.
Yep. Y'all don't go anywhere. We got professional hunter and fisherman, Big Bad Ron Jones next segment. We'll be right back with more Listen to the Eagle. Welcome back in to Listen to the Eagle, Alabama's hunters and fishermen platform to have a voice statewide across this great state of Alabama. Anything to do with hunting and fishing, we are your outlet for you to have a voice. Now, let's go to the phone lines for Listen to the Eagles professional hunter and fisherman, the man, the myth, the legend, Big Bad Ron Jones. Ron.
All right.
What's up, Ron Jones?
All right. What's going on, Bert Lane?
Ron. Here, look, here's the deal, Pickle. I may have to get you to hold on to another segment. We had Kay Donaldson on, the program director of Alabama Bass Trail, and she like me, were so excited. Ron, I don't know how much you know about this program, but it is absolutely just taken off and been a huge success, not only showcasing our state's lakes and bass fishing, but the economic impact that it's done on our states and a lot of small towns is huge, Ron. Huge. It's really good stuff.
Well, I tell you what, people don't realize, what that does for the state and the revenue it brings in, but it's big business, as you've been up to our lake place before, and we rent it out periodically, and I have 3 or 4 bass clubs every year, rent that out and, pre-fish and then fish the tournaments and so forth. So
yes, it's huge, man.
Just a little bit that I'm involved, with it. It's a huge, economic impact and just great for the state.
Hey, the other thing she said that I thought was cool, their motto, because they really want to get the youth involved, and that's a big thing here at Listen to the Eagle. She said, we want to put a tackle box to replace the Xbox. I thought that was pretty cool.
No, that is a good that is a good slogan. Cause so many kids now, you look at them and Well, my daddy calls them white as a bed sheet. They stay locked up in the house all they stay locked up there playing that Xbox, and they're missing out on the great outdoors and fishing and hunting and.
Ron,
just
hey,
need to get them out there.
We do. We got to pay some bills. I'm up against a hard break. Can you please stay on? I got three things I need your opinion on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can stay on.
All right, y'all don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with Ron Jones. Listen to the Eagles Professional Hunter and Fishing. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back. Listen to the Eagle, Alabama's Hunters and Fishermen platform to have a voice across this great state of Alabama. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We want to thank Kay Donaldson, the program director of Alabama Bass Trail, for being on with us in our very first segment. And now we're visiting with Listen to the Eagles Professional Hunter and Fisherman. We call him Big Bad Ron Jones. Ron, in visiting with Kay, and I know right before we went to break, you and I were talking about how cool the Alabama Bass Trail is and how it showcases our lakes, our awesome bass lakes, or all our lakes throughout the state of Alabama, but also the economic impact that it has. And Ron, she mentioned 2 lakes, and she even said that a lot of people, even in this state, don't know about them. I'd never heard about these fishing lakes, Miller's Ferry and Mobile Delta. Have you visited these 2 fishing holes?
I've been to Mobile Delta. We went down there, and my neighbor at the lake drew a gator permit.
Yeah.
And we killed a gator down there, so I've been on that lake before. And but Miller's Ferry, I hadn't been there, but there's a lot of lakes that a lot of people don't know about. I mean, you could just like a lot of golf courses, you could spend a lot of time trying to fish all the lakes.
Yeah. Well, we are truly blessed here in the great state. All right, couple of things. I know last time we had you on a couple of weeks, we kind of got a fishing update from you overall, which I understand from everybody I'm hearing, fishing's really good this year. But I want to talk to you about, we had Kerry Bradford on, game warden. He comes on from time to time. He was in studio. And he and I talked about that the advisory board actually went down to Key West, Florida, to a big meeting about this red snapper deal and really trying to get some data and show these people that we need to extend that season next year. Can you kind of, from the people you talk to, or maybe even what you're seeing, do you have any comment, or can you update us any more on what you're hearing?
Well, what I'm hearing is if you can make it out there, they're thicker and there's more than they've ever been. You know, I know you got the commercial end of the aspect, which always seems the commercial fishermen against the recreational.
Yes.
And I know everybody's got to make a living, but it's just kind of, to me, counterproductive when they can, you know, as I understand, they might be assigned a tonnage rate that they can sell. But you know, when you got a man that's, you know, trying to take his family out and recreation, and, you know, I mean, and trying to catch a few snapper, and I mean, you don't ever come out on the money as far as the meat goes.
Right.
I just don't know how much the recreational fishermen can even, you know, even hurt them compared to the commercial fishermen. So if they're going to do one, I mean, I just don't see my whole thing is if they're in such bad shape and so forth, if they're going to limit it and shut it down for 9 days for the recreational, and then they leave it, you know, pretty much open for the commercial.
Well, is that what you're hearing? Is that the angle they're going?
Well, I mean, that's what's happening. I mean, that's what it is now. And so, but if they're going to limit one, they need to limit the other. And I know, like say, I don't have to support a family, and I'm all for the commercial guys, and I know some guys that commercial fish, and I'm all about anybody making a living, but you know, they need to have some kind of common ground. And I hate to always get back to the money aspect, but state of Florida, I mean, the state of Alabama is losing out on a lot of tourism, you know, because
what about
the snapper season is so short.
Well, what about that guy that's got that investment in a charter boat and he's trying to take you and I out on a charter fishing? He's got to earn a living.
I mean, I really don't know. I've run the numbers before. It's been a dream of mine to be a charter boat captain, but I never can make the numbers work.
Right.
You know, you have weather, then another thing, you got a 9-day snapper season.
That's what I'm saying.
The weather's bad for 8 days.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it's just, the state of Florida, the governor ignored the federal season, so he lets people, and that's the reason Florida, I think they're open all of June and July, and I mean the tourism and the fishing, and it's just booming.
Yeah.
And I'm on a chair. I'm a chair on the chairperson on a big Alabama State committee that we're taking around 500 people down to a resort, and it's actually in Florida, in Panama City. But even Florida, they're losing out. We're going down the first weekend of August. Their snapper season's going to be closed, and I had 40 or 50 people that wanted me to get a boat together to take out, but you can't keep anything but some small, some beeliners and stuff. So everybody says, well, if we can't even keep a fish,
why pay the money?
And I had 40 people lined up to pay 150, 200 apiece. So that's just one trip that the people, and just think about all the trips people were missing out on Orange Beach, Dolphin Island. I mean, I just don't know how those guys even, a person that takes, and when I talk about commercial fishermen, I mean the ones that catch
and go sell.
I'm not talking about
we're talking about the charter guy.
Guide. Yeah, the charter guy. I just don't know how he can even remotely come close to making a good living without doing. Most of those guys have to do several different things. It's just a kind of love of labor.
Yeah.
So I my hat's off to the people that are still trying to do it, but I mean the impact. I mean it just flows all the way through the boating, through the boat industry. I mean, people aren't buying boats. People are selling their boats, and because wow, if I can only fish 9 days a year for some snapper, and I know you can fish for other things, but I just think they need to really do
we know what snapper means to the industry.
Study.
Yeah. I want to move on now. Again, we had game warden Kerry Bradford on last week. He was really promoting the gator tagging coming up in the gator season. He was telling everybody the time is now to put in at the website for your gator tag. So kind of share with us a little bit about what are you in, and I know you've had some past experiences there.
I mean, I actually, now that you brought it up, I need to see. I don't know if I've missed the deadline to put in, but the way that I've always, if I hadn't got in, I've missed out. But you go on a website, and the last time I did it, I think it was $5 an entry.
Yeah. And
then you went in. They might have raised it since then, and then you're drawn, and they draw so many tags. In the year that my neighbor was drawn, I think they gave out about 300 tags, and then they had some alternates.
Okay.
And we went down and just kind of did it ourselves. Took his boat, went around that night. He had to do a class on how to properly. If you are lucky enough to be drawn, you have to go to a class, and they have 3 or 4 different ones. You got to be certified on how you're supposed to catch the gator and secure him before you shoot him and bring him in. They don't want people down there just, shooting them and them getting away and so forth. So it's a real good.
Well, Ron, if you get a tag, if you're fortunate enough to get a tag, is there only certain areas that tag is good for, or can you go statewide?
Yeah, it's different. You got the Mobile Delta down there. You've got Lake Eufaula. As I remember it, it's 3 or 4 areas that they draw so many tags in each area.
Okay.
And so the Mobile Delta down there, that's where we went. And I mean, when we went out there was some out there. I mean, it looked like a Christmas tree.
It's nighttime. You're in this foggy water, and you're looking for an animal that's bigger than you. He's badder than you, and he can probably take off one of your limbs if you're not.
Oh yeah, then then you got to go down. Take your boat. If you don't live in the area, you got to get hotel rooms, and I'm telling you what, when we got that one, we were sitting there cleaning it that night about 3:00 in the morning at the and I told people, I said, I bet this is the first I bet it's the first alligator ever been cleaned in this Hilton Garden Inn parking lot.
Well, I love eating them. I love eating.
Oh yeah, we
gator
cleaned,
tails.
you know,
All right.
I mean, it just
Big bad Ron Jones, I can't thank you for your opinion and your advice and your knowledge, Ron. Each and every week when we reach out to you, you always step up and help us out here at Listen to the Eagle. We thank you not only for what you do for Listen to the Eagle, but across the state. I know you're on many different boards and your chairs and also the big event that you and your guy Sam with Hunting is Good and Red Akins put on down there for our state, and Dothan for Hunting is Good and all the charities. Thank you for everything you do.